Hey, good morning. As you may or may not know, when the children of Israel were wandering in the wilderness for 40 years, God provided food for them supernaturally. He provided manna for them every single morning. Well, not quite every single morning, because on the seventh morning, which was a Sabbath, they were not supposed to do any servile work, any manual labor. They were only supposed to. It was supposed to be a day of rest and a day of reflection on the Lord. And so, what would happen is they would they would be able to harvest enough on the sixth day to be able to eat for 2 days, because they would be able to eat just enough for that day. Monday, you go out and you gather enough so that you would eat Monday, and anything you had left over would spoil. So you go out Tuesday and you would gather enough for Tuesday and you would have enough for the day. And you go out on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, when they went out on the Sabbath, there would be no food. So what God did is the day before the Sabbath, He allowed them to get a double portion. That way they'd have enough for the day before Sabbath and the day of Sabbath. And that way God took care of them. He supernaturally provided for them. But He told them, as I'm reading in Leviticus chapter 25 this morning, that they're also supposed to have a Sabbath year. So 6 years they harvest, 7 years on the seventh year they let the land rest. And you're like, well, how do you do that? Well, God tells them in 21, in Leviticus 25:21, then I will command my blessings on you in the sixth year, so that it will bring forth produce enough for 3 years. And you shall sow in the eighth year and eat old produce until the ninth year, until its produce comes in, and you shall eat of the old harvest. So what God said is, don't worry about it. Now, if you're like me, I'd be like, God, how are we going to do this? Not growing anything for an entire year. How are we going to be able to do that? Well, God said, well, I'll give you enough for 3 years. So I'll give you enough for the year before, the year of, and the third year until the crop fully comes in. And then you'll have that. So He said, I'll make sure that you have enough. That way you don't have to do without. If you'll trust me, I'll give you everything you need. And that really is the lesson for us. In the model prayer, Jesus told His disciples, pray this way. And one of the sections says, give us this day our daily bread. And it's a reminder that God will take care of what we need today. I hope that's a blessing to you today. Love you guys.